You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Folks, well, happy Friday evening. It is just a few minutes past the hour right here on KLRNradio.com. We're coming to you live right now. And it, of course, is Friday, January 20th, 2017. And that means we have a new president. He was just sworn in today. Congratulations, President Donald J. Trump, our 45th president of the United States. Now, sir, do us all a favor and please keep your oath. I am one half of the crew around here, Mr. Rick Robinson. The other half is Mr. Daniel Wright. And you are listening to the Robinson and Wright Show, apparently dubbed by some as some tiny little no-name podcast, and you know who you are because I know you're listening right now.
Yes, they're listening.
So
as you all know, I lost a Twitter account and then got locked out of another Twitter account. I am being completely and totally cyber stalked. It's fun. I've missed it. It hasn't happened in a year and a half.
You know, I think we need to get you some Troll Be Gone.
Yes, that would be nice.
So anyway, lots of stuff's been going on. I, of course, have been MIA for about 10 days, off and on, because what started as a case of bronchitis and then eventually became... And then I kind of got over that for a few days, and then it turned into the crud. And now apparently I have the flu. So I'm starting to think Mother Nature's trying to kill me. Either that or I've made someone really angry, and they're sitting in a corner somewhere with a voodoo doll having a lot of fun. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, I think it's been like that for a lot of people this year. I've had a stomach virus. I've had the flu I get from the flu shot every year for about 2 days. I've had bronchitis. I think everybody has just been dealing with nothing but sick. I'm actually still coughing from the bronchitis I had like a month and a half ago.
That's always fun. So,
yeah.
So what did I miss? I know you and, damn, I'm doing bad with names tonight. You and Bill did a show last week in my absence.
We did. Yes, we did. Bill and I had Bill on last week, and
Bill and Dan's Excellent Adventure. No, I'm just kidding.
yes, I mean we pretty much talked mostly about more than anything the cabinet picks and the vetting of the cabinet picks by the crazy, insane left, who, I mean, just kept putting their feet in their mouths. I mean, it was listening to what I could listen to of the hearings was just every time they said something, they got it right back in their face. It was unbelievable how bad they did at trying to make sure that none of President Trump's cabinet picks were going to get confirmed. I mean, the stuff that they threw at them was just ridiculous. And it got thrown right back at them, especially Mattis. Mattis did a fantastic job in his hearings. He owned it. And he was confirmed today, which I was very happy to hear. I think he's going to be a fantastic SecDef.
Yeah, no, I actually think he will too. I hadn't been able to keep up with too many of the hearings because, of course, I'd been quarantining myself and trying to stay away from the rest of my family to figure out whether or not we were all going to die from Ebola. But so one of the ones that I was able to keep up with, though, was one that happened, I believe it was Tuesday. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe it was Wednesday. Anyway, it was the hearing for our very own Attorney General here, Scott Pruitt. And, of course, Bernie Sanders was leading the charge. And, Mr. Pruitt, I'm asking you for your opinion on climate change, sir. And that was actually my favorite part of this because Pruitt kept trying to steer it back to what he was trying to talk about, which is that he agrees the climate is changing, but we don't know how much of it is being impacted by man. So, therefore, we really shouldn't be going crazy with all of these laws and interpretations of laws. And again, Mr. Sanders says, but sir, I'm asking you for your opinion on climate change. And he says, but Senator, my opinion doesn't matter because as the head of the EPA, my job will be to enforce the laws that you as Congress bring to me as the head of my department. I thought that was one of the best things I had heard ever. And it was amazing to hear somebody in a potential government position say, my opinion doesn't matter because I have to follow the law.
Yeah, it's been like that pretty much what you saw. It's been like that with every hearing for every potential cabinet member. It's just every one of them has been the same way, and every senator that has asked questions in that manner has had it put right back in their face. I mean, you can say what you want. I'm not going to sit here and say that I love every single cabinet pick, but at this point, every bit of every hearing I've heard, I've watched a progressive senator ask questions and look stupid. So I guess I can't be too upset about that.
Well,
I can't. I mean, no, even if I don't necessarily love the cabinet pick, I have to hand it to them. They've all done their homework, and they're not letting, and I'm going to say the word, they're not letting themselves be Alinsky, which is exactly what the progressive senators are trying to do. They are trying to completely strawman and Alinsky all these cabinet picks, and they're not letting it happen. They're throwing it right back in their faces, and I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry to say, I'm enjoying it because the left is not taking what I thought. I thought maybe, wow, this could be a disaster. We could see, cabinet picks dragging out till March or April, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because all of these cabinet picks have done their homework, or at least most of them have.
No, and I mean, honestly, I mean, I know that's what everybody was afraid of, is they were going to find ways to drag things out procedurally. But honestly, thanks to the fact that the left did exactly what they kept telling the right they shouldn't do when the right had control of Congress, there really wasn't going to be too much they were going to be able to do anyway, except for try to find procedural loopholes to try to make sure the votes never happen. Because they weren't really going to be able to do the whole cloture thing, because they got rid of the whole, they went nuclear. They got rid of the whole supermajority thing for almost everything. So those type of things were kind of non-issues. But what was amazing to me is, for the first time ever, we're actually seeing Republicans that are willing to stand up and not fold under the pressure that we normally see happen. Because even with Bush 43, there were some of the people that they put in front of those senators that were sacrificial lambs. They sent them in there on purpose because they knew they weren't going to make it. And then they put somebody else up afterwards. I don't think we're going to see much of that here, because these people have actually taken the time to understand the questions that were going to be put to them and find the best ways to answer them and put themselves in the best possible light. And that's what I really like seeing here, because that's one of the things that I was afraid wasn't going to happen in this administration. And it's one of the things that I'm honestly pleasantly surprised by, is the fact that I don't know who's prepping them. I don't know how much Donald Trump is actually having to do with it. But ultimately, he's going to be the one that gets the credit for it. And it puts his administration off on a really strong footing. It really does. And as much as I didn't like some of the things I heard him say today, from the nationalistic flavors of his speech, there were a lot of things that I heard him say today that I liked at the same time. So I'm cautiously optimistic at this point. I'm still not buying a ticket to the Trump train, but watching the left melt down more and more is making me more and more of a Trump cheerleader. As much as I tried to avoid it, the longer they go crazy, the more I like the guy.
I'm, and I'll be honest with you, I got home in time to kind of watch some of the ball tonight. It was classy, and I'm not, how I feel about Donald Trump. I'm not giving him any passes. I will never give him any passes. But you know what? He and Melania were complete and total class acts today. I watched a little bit of the ball and watched them dance. It's, I see some class. I mean, they were classy with the Obamas today too. I'm pleasantly surprised right now. I saw people attacking, and in some ways I found it funny, and in some ways I didn't. But I saw people attacking the POTUS account today on Twitter. In some ways it was funny. In some ways it was like, oh, look, Donald hasn't tweeted anything. That's pretty funny. Ha ha ha, this is the last time you'll see that. But in other ways, like, they put a picture of D.C. on Inauguration Day, I guess, from 4 years ago in the header, because they didn't have a picture from today yet. The inauguration hadn't happened. So I saw leftist accounts photoshopping the POTUS account with, like, pictures of Nazi Germany in the header and stuff like that. It's like, really? You want to keep this stuff up? I'm fine with it. You keep it up. Keep it up. I'm all for it. I'm all for Michael Moore, and if you all know him, especially on Twitter, Nathan Hale. You keep it up. You keep it up. Keep talking smack, because all it is doing. They were literally on Twitter today praising the riots that were going on in D.C. Praising it. Keep praising it. Keep going. Because no matter how good or bad Trump is as a president, this kind of stuff, if it keeps up, it's not even going to matter. The left is destroying itself, and they don't even realize it.
You know, it's interesting that you bring up Michael Moore, because I heard him say something. I think it was, I'm not sure when he actually said it, but I heard the audio today on my way to work, and it was a clip of him talking about the incoming president and the fact that he isn't going to be ruling with a mandate. Mr. Moore, I have a newsflash for you. The president doesn't rule anything or anyone. He's not a ruler. He's not a king. He's not a monarch. He's not a dictator. He's an elected official. Therefore, we rule him, not the other way around. This is the thing you people seem to have stopped understanding. And this is one of the reasons why you've gotten your asses handed to you in the last few elections. Because you don't understand how this country works. You don't understand what it was founded upon. And you keep thinking that you're going to be able to change it. And I'm sorry to tell you that at this point, one of the reasons that Donald Trump won is because the American people were tired of being told that they were stupid, that they were dumb, that they were founded on a myth, that our Constitution doesn't matter. You gentlemen and ladies, and I use those terms very, very loosely, are the key reasons why Donald Trump is now president. So please continue to protest, continue to burn things, continue to break things, continue to tell people that you're more important than you actually are, because when you want to know why Donald Trump is president, please look yourself in the mirror every single day, because you are one of the primary reasons why Donald Trump is now president. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And I'll throw another celebrity, quote unquote celebrity, into the mix, because it's absolutely killing me. And it's something that I just saw just a little bit ago, was Deborah Messing taking the oath to uphold the Constitution against Donald Trump. Wait a minute. You are upset that Obama and Hillary are gone, and you're going to take an oath to uphold the Constitution? When in the last 8 years did the outgoing administration uphold the Constitution? That's what I would like to know. I'm not going to sit here and say that Trump is going to be a constitutionalist, but boy, it cannot get any worse than it was the last 8 years. It cannot get any worse.
No, actually, in a lot of ways, I don't really think that it can. And in some ways, here's the thing. In some ways, I think things are going to be a lot better. What concerns me about the current administration is he keeps talking tough about tariffs. Tariffs are not going to do what he thinks they're going to do to the economy. They're not going to be, unless he uses them as a negotiation tool, which could honestly be why he's mentioning them, because he may be trying to use them as a negotiation tactic. Because let's face it, everything this man does is a negotiation. Even a lot of his speech today, if you look at it from a negotiation standpoint, was an opening salvo, bringing all the countries to the table and letting them know what our stances were going to be. So, in some ways, if he's using them as a negotiation tool that says either we get things on better footing or I'm going to find a way to make sure that you guys are as hurt by our trade practices as we have been by our trade practices, then maybe it makes sense. So I'm hoping he's not the one that pulls the trigger on them first and that he's only using them as a negotiation tool. But honestly, after watching him for the last several months, I think that may be what he's been doing all along. I think he's just one of these people that constantly negotiates everything, and it never really stops.
And that could end up being a good thing. It could. I spent a long time leading up to the election trying to figure him out. He really, he's not, the greatest businessman in the world. He really isn't. He's a good businessman. I'm not going to say that he's not. He turned $250 million into multi-billion dollars. He did. I mean, I think a lot of people could have done that if they were handed $250 million. But he is a negotiator, and that could be a good thing with the right people around him. And I think in some ways he has put the right people around him. We just need to wait and see. I mean, I'm tired of people, you know. I've again, you and I went through the whole thing. We lost friends over Trump. Now we're losing friends over Trump again because now we're willing to give him a chance. But the reason we're willing to give him a chance is because he's the president of the United States. We don't have a choice. I'm willing to give him a chance. Let's see what he does. And I have people telling me that I'm just an idiot and now I'm just a Trumpkin or whatever it is they want to call me. No, that's fine. I even said something this morning. I said, it's funny. I've got the ultra Trump people after me. I've got the left after me. And I've got conservatives after me, which tells me I'm doing something right. I'm not going to sit back and say, hey, everything that's happening with Trump being president is a horrible thing and he's going to ruin the country. He's not going to ruin the country. That's why Obama didn't ruin the country. He made some bad things happen, especially when he had full control. And right now Trump has full control. If things go bad in 2018, he won't have full control anymore. That's why this country's set up the way it is. Sit back and let's see what he does. If he screws up, I'll be the first one to say he's screwing up. But sit back, let it happen. Obama is gone. It was a disaster. It was an 8-year disaster. He's gone. Let's see what happens here. It's something different. It's something very different than we've ever seen. He's not a career politician. Let's see what happens. I didn't want it, but it's here. I'm not saying embrace it, but sit back and chill out. Let's see what happens. Let's not run around D.C. and break every piece of freaking glass you can see, which is exactly what happened today. It's stupid. Sit back, see what the man does. That's all anybody's asking. I saw people getting attacked today for saying, hey, let's all just get together. It's all cool. Let's all get together and see what happens. And people just coming in and saying, you're an idiot. Why is that idiotic? That's what everybody's been trying to say forever, is let's just all sit back and chill out and see what happens. It's driving me nuts. It really is. I mean, you and I didn't want Trump. Most of our friends didn't want Trump. We've got Trump. That's it. Accept it. See what happens. Hold his feet to the fire. Yeah. What is wrong with that right there?
Absolutely nothing. And you know what drives me crazy about that is all of these people that are still ardently against Trump only because of the fact that it's Donald Trump. At this point, they've basically become people standing on the deck of the Titanic praying that it hits an iceberg before it ever does. Because that's what they're actually hoping happens at this point. They want something to go terribly wrong. They want something to happen under Trump's watch because they want to be able to sit back and say, see, I told you he was a bad pick for president. Look, I told everybody up front that I thought the man was a bad pick for president. Nobody listened to me, though. So now we're here. So what I'm hoping and what I pray every single morning and every night before I go to sleep, and I talk about on almost every hour of radio that I do, is that I hope in my heart of hearts that I was wrong about President Donald J. Trump, and I hope that he does a good job, and I hope he keeps his oath, and I hope he honors the Constitution, and I hope he does find ways to make this country strong again. Because in a lot of ways, we have weakened ourselves, and we've done it to ourselves, because we no longer have the stomach sometimes to do the things that must be done for a country to remain strong. And we have done that to ourselves. So we have a choice. We continue to do things as we've done them before and see if we can survive, or we hope that we've finally gotten somebody in there that is going to make some of the changes that we need to make. Is Trump going to be a transformational president? No, I don't think so. But could he be a good transitional president that starts getting us pointing back into the right direction? That is entirely possible, because we have swung really, really, really far to the left in the last 20 years, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. And the simple fact of the matter is, I don't think we're going to be able to get all the way back to the center in 4 or 8 years. But Donald Trump could get us pointed in the right direction and get the country moving in the proper direction, so the presidents that come after him can continue that trajectory. So do I think he's going to get everything fixed overnight? No. Do I think it's probably going to be a really rocky first 4 years? Probably, because half the country can't stand him. But because that's who we are now. There is no middle ground. There's far right, there's far left, and there's those of us in the middle looking at everybody around us like they're crazy because we don't understand how we got here. Because we used to come together, we used to call ourselves Americans. Now we're only Americans if we agree with each other, and if we don't agree, then we're the enemy. And we're un-American.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, what I'm actually seeing, and it inspires me a little bit, is yes, you have the ultra left and you have the ultra right, but you have the pretty much 60% of us that are in the middle. And I find myself more and more this last couple months making friends with liberals. And we talk, and we don't agree, but we talk and we're becoming friends. And it's a weird dichotomy going on right now. And they sit there. I have a good friend of mine that's become a good friend of mine over the last couple months. That he's a liberal, but he's very constitutional, and I'm not a liberal, and I'm very constitutional, and we agree on so much. It's so little in the middle we don't agree on, and it's great. It's back to between he and I, where we can talk about stuff and not be mad at each other. And I can even say, yes, I understand where you're coming from. And he can say, yes, I understand where you're coming from. But that's really probably at least 60% of the country. The country's being ruled by the 20% on each side, on the other side of that 60%. That's the problem. That's the problem right now. There really is a middle ground, and I think the middle ground is really growing. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the middle ground is perfect, but it's a talking point. It's this whole election cycle may actually be getting us back to the talking point, which is what we need.
You may have a point. I just realized we're at the bottom of the hour, so we got to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to keep talking about the news, the events of the day, and more about the inauguration. Actually, I think we may even have some audio from some of the confirmation hearings. I noticed that Jess linked me some stuff earlier, so may check some of that out on the break and see whether it's going to be anything that we can use. This is Robinson and Wright. We will be right back here in just about 4 minutes or so.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All riders are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at rahardin.com. That's the World Wide Web at rahardin.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Hardin to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Alright folks, welcome back. This is Robinson and Wright coming to you live right here on Friday night on KLRradio.com. Wanted to say a big shout out to Ron hanging out with us in the chat room. Hope you're having a great night, brother. And yeah, I know I need to take about a week off and try to get over this, what I thought was the crud, and then have been joking about being Ebola, and it turns out I have the flu. And yet I'm still here hanging out with you guys. Now, is that not devotion or what? No, I'm just playing. Alright, so anyway, we have been talking about quite a few different things, mostly Meltdown on the left. And now, I wanted to try to find the audio for this today, but I couldn't go back and find it. Right before Jen and I went on the air last night, I saw a tweet going around with what appeared to be maybe an 11, 12-year-old kid who was being interviewed by someone in the press, and I wasn't sure what I was going to hear. So I click on the little link, and it starts playing, and the first thing I hear is, "Why did you find it necessary to set that fire?" And this is someone who's a little kid who was protesting. I think it was outside of the deplorable. And basically, the child replied, well, first of all, because I wanted to. And second of all, because I wanted to say, screw our president. Now, I just want everybody to think about that for a second. Because if that had happened while Obama was president, there would have been blood on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the hypocrisy going on right now is astounding, because everything that's happening, all these protests and everything else, when Obama, I'll take it back. When Obama was elected president in 2008, in 2009, in January 2009, how many businesses in D.C. had all of their windows blown out?
None.
Okay. When Obama was elected in 2009, how many protests were there around the country? I'm not going to sit here and say there were none. I don't remember. I don't know for sure. But protests that actually made, say, the news, how many were there around the country?
Well, let's phrase that a little bit differently. How many violent protests were there around the country when Obama was elected president?
Right. Now, I have a friend who is in the LAPD Sheriff's Department. He made arrests today. The LAPD called in the LA Sheriff's Department to help. because there were, I call them riots, but I guess that's the wrong term. There were violent protests in LA, in New York, in DC, in Chicago, in every major city over this, over a man that was duly elected president by the rules that are set in this country by the Constitution.
But that's just it. They don't see it that way because they don't understand how the system was supposed to work. They can't wrap their minds around the fact that apparently more people voted for Hillary Clinton, and yet somehow Donald Trump got more electoral college votes, because they don't understand how the system was designed. They don't understand that we are a representative republic, which means by default we are not a democracy of mob rule. We are a democracy by definition, yes, but we are a particular type of democracy. We are a democracy that is by design a representative republic, which means we get a voice based on the people that we send to Washington. And then those people do the things that we sent them to Washington to do. And this can include the president. And one of the biggest complaints about the Electoral College is the fact that in certain states it takes more people to secure an electoral college vote than it does in others. And that is, again, by design, because the Electoral College is designed around the same system that set up Congress. And Congress has a limited number of seats, which is where the majority of the Electoral College votes come from. You get one for every representative, and you get one for every senator, which is where the number 535 comes in. But what people don't understand is because they are limited in that number, when your population grows, it takes more of those people to secure the same seat because you are limited in number as to the number that are available. And nobody understands that fact. Nobody grasps it. And it's by design because they don't teach this crap in school anymore. Because the more stupid we are, the more violent we are. And this is more and more apparent every single day because the less we understand something, the more we're ready to pick up something and start throwing stuff through windows when things don't happen the way that we want them to.
Absolutely. And it was designed because we are a very unique country. We really are. We are a country. We're not the only country that's divided by states, but we are. We are divided by states. We are 51 if you want to include Puerto Rico. We are 52 states. And each state has its own voice, but each state has its own laws and government. And each state decides how it wants to make everything work. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Our federal government is literally set up to do two things. It's set up to kind of watch over how the states are doing things and control our infrastructure and military. That's what it's supposed to do. That's where things have gone wrong over the last, really, I'd like to say 60 or so years, but maybe 80 or so years, where the federal government has gotten too much control. It's not supposed to be that way. And listening to all these celebrities talk about how they're going to take an oath to uphold the Constitution because Donald Trump is now the president is a crock, because they don't know what the Constitution is all about. None of them even understand it. Most of them have probably never read it. They don't know what it's all about. This country was founded on states' rights. And states will do things the way they want to do them, and that's the way it's supposed to be, unless it's getting unruly, the Fed has a right to come in and say, hey, maybe this is a problem. But that's basically, and I'm trying to say this in layman terms, but that's basically what the Fed can do. They can kind of say, we might have a little problem with what you're doing here. Maybe the other states need to chime in too. What's going on here? It's not a Fed rules the states. We saw it last year in North Carolina. North Carolina said, no, we don't want everybody to be able to go in our restrooms. And the Fed overruled it. Why did the Fed overrule it? That's unconstitutional. It's a bathroom. A state should be able to say who is allowed in a bathroom in said state. That's the way things are supposed to work. These people don't understand the Constitution. They're taking an oath to uphold something they do not understand.
I don't necessarily even think it's so much that they don't understand it. I don't think they give a damn.
Yeah, I'd say that too.
Because I mean, let's
but they throw the word Constitution out there.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
they throw the word out there.
Everybody does that, though. I mean, that's what's funny though is watching the left now start clinging to the Constitution. The same people that for the last 8 years have told us that the Constitution doesn't matter, that it's irrelevant, that it's an old, outdated document, and we need to do away with it. Now that they have become the opposition party, all of a sudden they're using words like Constitution and freedom of the press and First Amendment, when all of those things were jokes when they were the party in power. And that's one of the things that has me concerned about the Republicans now, because I've seen in a lot of ways them doing the same thing with the shoe on the other foot. And that's one of the things that we need to find a way to stop at our level, at the citizenry level. We need to stop with this whole flip-flop of, well, we're now the party in power, so now we don't care what you think anymore because we got what we wanted. We're back in power. We need to find a way to stop that. And I hope...
No, you are right.
That Donald Trump
absolutely
actually does
right.
that.
I'm sorry, I talked over you, but it hit me. You're absolutely right. And it goes back to what I said about kind of lately finding people to talk to. We all need to be talking. Agree or disagree, we all need to be talking. But with this extreme on one side and extreme on the other, the talking doesn't happen.
No, it really doesn't. And honestly, again, I think a lot of that is by design. Because there have been people that have been involved in government that have figured out ways to keep us from talking to each other. They have figured out ways to divide us. They divide us by the color of our skin. They divide us by our economic situation. They divide us by where we live. They divide us by the type of work that we do. They divide us by where we've attended school. They have found all of these different ways to make sure that certain people feel less important than others. And that was never what this country was intended to be. Never what was it to be as it is right now. We didn't have the oligarchy situation that we have going on here today. And that was one of the things that honestly resonated with me with Trump's speech today when he said, all of you in America are important. All of you that have felt like you have been ignored, I promise you, you will never be ignored again. I have to admit, that was about the only bit of the speech I was able to hear because I was at work, but I got goosebumps. I don't remember the last time that I heard a politician say something and it actually gave me goosebumps, because I didn't realize how much I had felt completely ignored, how much I had felt alone, how much I had felt as if my opinion didn't matter because I had all of these Washington elites telling me what I should think and how I should feel. And with one sentence, he made me feel better. And that's hard for me to say because I have been really, really hard on this man for months and months and months. And I have taken apart everything that he has said. And I have dissected every speech. And there are still things that I could say about this one that would be negative because I did not like the nationalistic connotations in there. But that one moment was enough to make me realize just how downtrodden even me, a guy who sits behind a microphone 15, 16, 17 hours a week trying to get people's attention, was honestly feeling about our country. And I didn't realize it until he said it.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it's funny you said that. And I didn't get to hear all of the speech, but that was one part of the speech that I did hear. And you're right. I mean, I've been 13 years. 13 years I've been a political misfit. And that one line from one speech, you know, it makes me, it pushes me more towards what I've been saying, and what I've been saying since November 8th is just give the guy a chance. I mean, he's going to be our president. Just give him a chance. If he screws up, I'll hold him to that. But like Obama, like George W. Bush, like Clinton, like George's dad, like Reagan, like everybody else, every single president deserves a chance. You don't know. You know, I mean, look at the crap, and I'm not comparing the two because, boy, have I sent that point home over the last year. I'm not comparing the two, but look at the hell Reagan got and look at what he ended up being. Donald Trump, we don't know. He just took the oath of office today. He could end up being a great president. He could end up making things work great. Do I think everything's just going to be hunky-dory and fall in line? No. But he really could end up being a great president. I thought, and I'm not a Democrat, but when he was elected, I still have 3 different newspapers from the day Barack Obama was elected and from the day he was inaugurated as president. And I kept them, and I will always keep them. Because in some ways it was historical, but I have newspapers, I have front page newspapers from every president since I've been able to vote. I keep them all. Did I have hopes that Barack Obama really would bring what he said he would bring? Of course I did. Even if I didn't support him and didn't want him to be president, boy, did I hope he would be a great president. I was disappointed. Now we're at Donald Trump. I rallied against him. I did not want him to get the nomination. I did not want him to be president of the United States. But I'll be a little honest. I didn't vote for him, but I'm much happier with Donald Trump as president than I would have been with Hillary. I'm pretty darn sure.
I am honestly at this point elated that we did not hear President, or 45th President of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton. And it's not even so much my distaste for the things that she's done. One of the things that honestly completely turned me off, and this was right before the election, was when her own account put out a tweet with herself as a child and talking about how she was guaranteed, basically, by the wording of the tweet, to be the next president of the United States. And I just the audacity of this woman, the audacity of that entire family, just to think that it was something that was preordained, that it was theirs and no one could take it away from them. And not to backtrack for a second, but they honestly believed this. And that was one of the things that was outlined in these DNC leaks that everybody's been having kittens about, oh my God, how did we get them? Where did they come from? well, maybe the president who was president then should have been focusing on things like cybersecurity instead of climate change. Then maybe the DNC wouldn't have been able to be hacked. And then maybe we wouldn't have heard how much the Democratic Party really doesn't like most poor people and doesn't really care for Mexicans and doesn't really care very much for African Americans. They use them as tools. I mean, those of us that study history have known that all the way since Johnson voted for civil rights, because he specifically said, if I do this, then we will get those N-words to vote for us for the next 100 years. But you can't tell them that because you're just a white guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Never mind the fact that just because I look white, I also happen to be about 30% Native American, which legally makes me an Indian. But yeah, I'm just a white guy. So I mean, it's just all of it is astounding to me. The audacity all the way around, and I didn't realize how much I absolutely, positively did not want that woman to be president until I realized it wasn't going to happen. And that was honestly one of the turning points for me, because I was really sure that Donald Trump was going to lose, because all signs pointed to him losing, and I will freely admit that I was wrong. There were so many of us that got this wrong because we didn't understand how deeply angry the American public was as to the way that they've been treated for the last 8 years. We missed it because it's the same thing that happens every time. We have this group of people that do what they're supposed to do. They go to work every day. They pay their bills every day. They don't really make a lot of noise until it's time to go to an election, and then sometimes they'll go and sometimes they don't. This was one of the times that they went, and they went in enough numbers that now we have Donald Trump as president. And again, I didn't vote for him. I voted for Johnson. I voted for Johnson on purpose because I kept my word to myself and to everyone around me that I wasn't going to be one of the people that put that man in office because I didn't think he was going to be a good choice. And also because I wanted to make sure that the Libertarian Party got a foothold in my state, in the hopes that maybe at some point it could actually grow up and become a real party someday, Geppetto, because right now it's just a little one that doesn't really know what it's doing. But that's a story for another day. But that's the whole point. I didn't want to be here, but we're here. So now we need to put away the anger. We need to put away the animosity, come behind the man as Americans, and give him a chance to see if he's actually going to do the job that he got sent to Washington to do. Because I promise you, if he doesn't, I'll be one of the first ones standing up screaming about it. But until he does something, let's give him a chance. Did I lose you?
I'm here now. You did lose me, though.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. It just completely cut off. You there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Are we in break?
No.
Oh, okay. Because you just disappeared. Everything disappeared, and thank you, Skype.
Yeah, we need to take a break, but no, we're not in break yet.
Well, if I could add something really quick.
Sure.
Something I was watching Tucker Carlson the other night, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's a HuffPo writer, I guess, an editor, who literally said that the election is illegitimate because a week before the election, stuff came out that it basically indicted Hillary of doing illegal things. And my response to that was, think about that for a minute. You just said that stuff came out that pointed to Hillary doing illegal things, And that's what cost the Dems the election. So your candidate doing illegal stuff cost you the election, and so the election is illegitimate.
Yeah, I don't think they thought that through. I really don't.
No, I don't think he thought about anything he said before he said it, because that is pretty much exactly what he said.
All right, well, we have blown through the top of the hour. At this point, we're going to take a really quick, well, actually, a bit of a longer break. Going to get kicked off with Hour 2 here in just a few minutes. You are listening to Robinson and Wright right here on KLRNradio.com. We'll be right back here in just about 6-ish.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you and your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at rahardin.com. That's the World Wide Web at rahardin.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Folks, well, this is Robinson and Wright. We're in hour 2, coming back to you live right now from KLRNradio.com, and we've been talking Inauguration Day. We've been talking the meltdown of the left. We've been talking about mining. It seems like even Dan's transitioned from never Trump to stuck with Trump, so now we're going to give him a shot. And that means that we are basically getting attacked from all sides, which honestly is kind of the way I like it, because if I'm pissing everybody off, it means I'm doing something right. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, you can't even go on Twitter anymore, because if you say something that is, you know, maybe Trump says something on a Twitter account that makes you kind of look at him a little crazy, so you kind of pop off about it. Oh my God, you're just a liberal troll. And then Trump nominates somebody like Pruitt, and I'm like, hey, yay, I kind of like this guy, and I think he'd make a good EPA person. You Nazi!
Right, yeah, it's, and it's something that's really, the one thing that's bothering me big time is the the ultra Trump supporters really don't bother me anymore because I've been dealing with it for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. The left, I understand it, but it's people that actually call themselves conservatives that will just attack me now if I say anything in the slightest way positive about Trump. I mean, I'll send a tweet out that is ridiculing something he did, and then my next tweet is, well, you know what? That's pretty cool. And all of a sudden I'm getting nailed by quote-unquote conservatives. You know what? We said it in the last hour. Chill out. Everybody just needs to chill out and see what happens. And like I said, I have liberal friends that are saying the same thing. They're saying, chill out. They're telling conservatives to chill out and wait and see what happens. Liberals that are telling conservatives that, which tells me they're not conservatives. You know what? Just move yourself on over to that far liberal left.
You know, it's interesting.
I was really quick. I was told today by a conservative that by and far Barack Obama was a better president than Trump's going to be. Really? He just got sworn in.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I have family members, believe it or not, that are diehard liberals, and I actually heard one of them talking today, and it was funny because it was during the inauguration, and they had said that the camera panned over to Obama and Michelle, and Obama looked like somebody had basically killed his pet goldfish and then fed it to him. And it was funny because even from a liberal, she was like, you know what? I'm kind of glad he's leaving because now all of a sudden we've got factories that are ready to start building in Michigan again, which hasn't happened in how long? Coming from a liberal.
Exactly.
Coming from a liberal. I mean, look, whether you like the man or not, during his transitional period of becoming president, he's already done more to create jobs in those, 2 months than this president, the former president, did in 8 years.
Absolutely.
And it's all about the perception of it, though. I mean, it's the positivity. It's the idea that we're going to have somebody in there that knows how business should run and understands how things need to be for businesses to be able to thrive here again. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was kind of cutting you off, but it's, in listening to, people like Chuck Schumer and other senators and representatives and the 61 that refused to come to the inauguration. You know what? You had 8 years. You had 8 years to make things better. And you will sit there and say you did, but you didn't. Everybody I know, everybody I work with is worse off than they were 8 years ago. Everybody. I mean, some of them will sit there and still say, we don't want Trump. That's fine. You don't want Trump, but you're not better off. You're not. I know. I work for the company I work for. I have gotten a raise every year for the last 8 years, and I now bring home less than I did 8 years ago. How is that making my life better? It's either been taxed or health insurance away from me. Every dime that of raise that I have gotten has either been taxed away from me or ACA'd away from me. Every single dime plus. I take home less than I did 8 years ago. 8. And I have McDonald's workers complaining that they want $15 an hour. Wait a minute. I make way more than that. And I'm taking home less than I did 8 years ago. And I have 4 children. Let's not worry about what a McDonald's worker wants. Let's worry about what the guy that's actually worked his whole life to get where he is. And I'm not trying to say, gimme. But you know what? Let's try to improve the lives of the people that are actually supporting the economy before we think about what is supposed to be a part-time freaking job. You know, and then we saw it in D.C. today. I even commented about it. They destroyed a Starbucks. The protesters, quote unquote protesters, destroyed a Starbucks. Who is working in that Starbucks? A bunch of baristas that are probably trying to put themselves through college, making $8.50 an hour, $9 an hour, and now you just destroyed their workplace, and now they're not freaking working. Because you think that Starbucks is paying them to be off while the store gets restored? No. Oh, you just put all of your fellow Democrats out of work. You just put them out of work. It's the mindset is ridiculous. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I will rally against it. And Trump pants, go for it. Make me believe. Do what you need to do and make this better, because 8 years ago, people weren't destroying Starbucks and putting people out of work. But they are now. If you look at the videos from D.C. with idiots running around with hammers and just running by businesses and busting out all the Herculite glass on the front of their businesses, that's now costing those businesses thousands and thousands of dollars and putting all of their employees out of work. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're doing a great job, Michael Moore, and everybody else pushing these people.
Well, you know, just a bit of irony here, because apparently they broke out a bunch of windows in a Bank of America too. The irony in that, though, is Starbucks actually gave $98,581 to Hillary Clinton's campaign, and Bank of America gave $466,389 to Hillary Clinton's campaign, and yet all the people that are mad that Hillary lost just made sure they got all their windows smashed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I do architectural hardware for a living. I'm going to tell you what. I saw that Starbucks. Every bit of that is what's called Herculite glass. Every pane of glass they broke out is going to cost that store, probably with labor, $3,000 to $4,000. And they broke out every piece of freaking glass. So that's Starbucks, folks. That's the people that are supporting you. And that's the workers that are now out of work. Don't tell me that most of the baristas that are working in the Starbucks in D.C. aren't Democrats. You just put them out of work, stupid. You just put them out of work. It's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling, the mindset. You just basically set them all back. You know, some of those people, they may have been depending on that paycheck, like you say. They're depending on that paycheck. Guess what? They just lost that paycheck. Maybe they just lost their house. maybe their kid isn't getting fed because your dumbass took a hammer and busted all the windows out of the store they work in. Congratulations, Michael Moore. Congratulations, Nathan Hale. Congratulations, all of you. You just put people out of work. Awesome job. I'm clapping again. Can you hear me? Awesome job. You all are fantastic. Awesome Americans.
Oh, no, it's just, I don't know. I mean, what else are you going to say about it, though? I mean, really, what else can you say? The whole damn country's gone crazy. And again, if this kind of thing was happening 8 years ago, people would have gone to jail. And now it's just, well, they're protesting.
No,
they're exercising.
There's video of them, but they all wear their stupid little masks, and they run down the street with their hammer, and they just crisscross, and they just bust windows out.
Well,
yeah, that's a great protest. Great protest.
Well,
that's protesting.
I've got news for all these idiots that think that they're going to be able to get away from being identified on camera by wearing a mask. The government has a program now that can actually map the contours of your face underneath a mask. So guess what? If you piss them off enough, they're going to come find you, whether you've got a mask on or not.
And hey, with the incoming administration, maybe they will. You know what? Do you think Obama cared about identifying the rioters over the last 8 years? No. Do you think the incoming administration does? Probably. Good luck. Good luck. Keep protesting.
And I hate to say it because I am a minimalist and a constitutionalist, but all of these people that are now getting away with breaking the law with impunity and terrorizing businesses and burning down homes, all because they don't like things that are happening in the government, I'm ready for somebody to do something about that. As scary as that actually is as a concept, something needs to happen to these people that have now, on national TV, terrorized people in businesses today because they didn't like the results of an election. There need to be consequences for actions like that so people understand that is not a protest. That is not what that was. A protest is to stand out somewhere, hold up a sign, and yell about how unfair, whatever you think is unfair about a certain situation. And to do so with a permit, that is a protest. To go somewhere and cause physical destruction and possible bodily harm to bystanders in a business is terrorism. And it
absolutely
needs to start being called what it is.
I was very involved with the whole Ferguson thing. Now, there's a company called QT, which is Quick Trip, and they had a store in Ferguson. Now, the way Quick Trip works is the guy that owns Quick Trip, he does not build a store unless he has the money to build that store. He does not finance stores. He has the capital to actually build that store. Well, when Ferguson went down, they went into Quick Trip, they destroyed it, they burned it, everything else. Do you know what he said? He said, fine, I'll take the insurance money. Now you don't have a Quick Trip. It's done. There's a piece of property sitting in the middle of Ferguson with a burnout store on it, and he left it. He took the insurance money and he left it. The insurance company owns it now. And you know what? They bitch. They bitch that there's no Quick Trip in Ferguson now. Well, you know what? You burned it out. Why would he build it again? It was paid for. He got paid back for it. He's done with it. You destroyed it. You gave it up. You know, they always expect, well, the company's just going to be rebuilt. No, not this time. See ya. He was smart enough to say, oh, if you're going to burn it out because of something stupid like this, I don't need to be there. So now you don't have a Quick Trip. And we have Quick Trips here. They're awesome. They're fantastic. Every few months they have their maple bacon milkshake, which becomes lunch for me. It's awesome. You know, hey, you lost it. You screwed it up. You burned it down. You burned down. You loved Quick Trip, but you burned it down because of something that happened that had nothing to do with Quick Trip. This is what's happening now. I mean, I saw it here in Charlotte. We had the peaceful protests here in Charlotte. They busted out businesses, broke all their windows, everything else. And you know what? The cop was found to be in the right. But you just you fly off the handle. You know what? Cops have a hard job. Everybody has a hard job. The president has a hard job. Donald Trump didn't need to do what he did. He did not. He was perfectly fine. He didn't need. He obviously didn't need the money. He's not taking a salary. I mean, it's chill out. Everybody needs to chill out. Stop destroying your neighborhoods. Stop destroying other people's neighborhoods. And shut up and see what happens. Stop listening to George Soros. And that's what this all is. This whole DC thing today, it's Occupy. It's all Occupy Wall Street. It's the same people. It's all George Soros.
You know,
that's what it is.
It's interesting that you bring up the fact that he's not taking a salary, because he's actually the first sitting president that I think I've ever heard even ask the question, because nobody knew the answer. When he first started talking about not taking a salary, they were like, I don't know if you can legally do that. So I think he's actually decided that to make sure that it's completely legal, I think he's going to pay himself $1 a year to be president. But here's my
my God, he's paying himself.
But yeah, here's my question with that though. All of these, the majority of these people that go into public office are already very well off. So why do we need to pay them these outlandish salaries when they already have more money than most of us are going to see in our lifetimes? Not only that, but why do we need to give them retirement for life when they already have more money than most of us are going to see in our lifetimes? Why do we need to continue to give them gold ticket health care for the remainder of their lives and for the remainder of their families' lives when they already have more money than we're going to see in our lifetime? This is when those things started happening, was when there was a fundamental shift. Because these people, again, remember, they're supposed to be working for us. We're not supposed to be providing for them for the rest of their lives. They're supposed to be working for us for a short term and then go back to their regular lives when it's over. And that's something else that we need to start working on making sure happens again. And honestly, I've talked about this before. But one of the ways that I think that we could honestly fix Congress is, first of all, if we want Obamacare fixed, we need to make sure that every congressman and every congressman's family members have to be put on Obamacare. They would find a way to fix it in 5 minutes because it sucks. And they know it sucks, but they don't care because most of them are exempt. If we want them to actually fix things, because these are the same people that can vote themselves pay raises, we need to stop that too. When things are broken the way they've been broken now for several decades, we need to pay them the same way that we pay waitstaff. We need to pay them a bare minimum, and at the end of every fiscal year, we as the American people can go to the polls and vote as to whether or not they get their salary, contingent upon whether or not they've done the things that we sent them to Washington to do. There are ways that we can honestly fix this stuff and make them beholden to us again the way that they're supposed to be, but we won't because we don't have the sack for it anymore. We don't have the stomach for it anymore. We just want to be able to come home, turn on our TV, have our lights work, have our dinner in front of us in 5 minutes, have a drink in our refrigerator, and that's the extent of most of our days. And I get it. Life is hard. Life sucks most days. For some people, especially some people like me that have physical issues, it's hard to get out of bed every day. I understand that. It's a struggle for me to do my day-to-day activities because things hurt. Other things that people take for granted every day take me forever because things hurt. And I understand that. But I still get up every day and I still do them. And I'm still studying and researching and trying to find ways to put this country back together again. And that's what everybody needs to do. And again, that's what's changed for me, because I don't know what Donald Trump is going to do as president, but I know that whatever he does, it can't be any worse than what we've gone through for the last 8 years. And that, for the moment, has given me hope again. It has inspired me to start thinking of ways that we could change things for the better. It has inspired me to think of ways that we as a country could start finding ways to come together again, because we have, if we think about it, 95 to 97% of the things that go on in this country are things that we could come together and agree on, whether they're good or bad, find a way to fix them and move on. There's about 3 to 5% of the things that we deal with on a daily basis that we're never going to agree on, because we are fundamentally different people. Some people are okay with abortion, other people are not okay with abortion. So you've got to find a middle ground there. But there are so many things that we could focus on, but we don't, because we're too busy fighting over the things that we know we're never going to agree on, because that's what they want us to do. Because as long as we're fighting with each other, we can't come together. And again, that one sentence, the only little bit of the speech that I was able to hear, because everything else that I've heard has been third party and conjecture. So I'm holding off, because tomorrow I plan on going back and listening to everything that I can find, and then I'm going to soak it up and come back Monday, and I'm going to talk about it and give people my honest opinion on it. But my one takeaway from the speech that I was able to hear was, for the first time in 8 years, I have hope for this country, because somebody told me, hey, I know you feel like you've been forgotten, but I promise you, you were not forgotten. I'm here, and you will never be forgotten again. Now, some people heard that and they cringed. I heard it and it gave me goosebumps, because I realized that somebody realizes that a lot of us have felt left out in the cold for a very long time, and maybe, just maybe, it's time for us to come home.
No, yeah, you're right. And to touch on something you said earlier, and it's somebody that I've been hot and cold on for the last few months, well, since about maybe last June, is former Congressman Joe Walsh. Everybody needs to model Congress, the House and Senate, after Joe Walsh. He was a congressman. He was a two-term congressman. And when he got elected, and what he ran on was, I will be no more than a two-term congressman. We need to do away with career politicians. And that's what he did. He was elected in Illinois, and he served. He was elected a second time. He served, and he did well. He did great. He was one of my favorite congressmen. And at the end of his second term, he said, I will not seek a third term. That's what I ran on. I do not believe that congressmen should have more than 2 terms. So I'm done. And he stepped back. And I applauded him for that. And we need more of that. And honestly, I do believe we need term limits. I would like to see the current POTUS push for that. We need term limits. We do not need career politicians anymore. Career politicians are the problem. And like you said, the benefits should go away. It should be done. It won't be. It will never happen because it's what our big government is now. But it should go away. Congressmen and senators should serve because they want to serve their constituents. And it's not happening. They serve to serve themselves. And it needs to stop. I'll leave it at that. Hey, shout out to Joe Walsh. I know he's not listening, but he and I have been back and forth over the last 6 months or so. But I still totally appreciate absolutely everything he did when he was a congressman, because he did it exactly how it should be done.
All right, folks, we've got to squeeze in one more break before we round out the show. This is Robinson and Wright. We're coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com. We'll be back here in just about 4.5.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you and your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
And welcome back, folks. We're in the last hour of the show, right here on Robinson and Wright, live on KLRNradio.com. Hope everybody's having a great Friday night. Hope everybody's having a great inauguration day. Everybody give a big California bye-bye to the outgoing POTUS and FLOTUS. In case you're wondering, it's the same as the California hello from the Beverly Hillbillies movie, so yeah, I'm sure you can figure it out. And we've been talking about inauguration, meltdowns, hopes for the new administration, and things that we think would honestly fix the country. And one of those things is term limits. Again, for me, another thing that would fix it would be the removal of the lifetime retirement funds for politicians, because they don't need the money in the first place. The removal of the gold ticket healthcare, especially when they're out of office, because they don't really need it in the first place, because they already have more money than most of us are ever going to see in our lifetimes. And something that I really, really think we need to consider, because most governors have what is called a line item veto on a bill. Our president doesn't have that ability. I think our president needs that ability, because what that would be able to do is, instead of, there being one or two things in a bill that makes the president not want to sign it, so therefore he has to veto it, and the whole thing goes away, most governors can take out things they don't like from bills and pass the remainder. I think that would be a really good thing for our administrations to be able to do, because it would do away with a lot of these executive orders and signing statements if they had access to something like a line item veto. And another thing that would be really, really good is if we could go through the budget line item by line item and do away with the $50,000 hammers and the $35,000 toilet seats, and then grab one of the guys in the black jackets with the dark glasses, hand him $150 and send him to Walmart and go buy the hammers and the toilet seats. Just saying.
Yeah. That's I totally agree, because how many things in this country haven't been passed because to pass the bill they have to pass studying something along the lines of the mating rituals of a platypus with a hog. And I'm not kidding. There's ridiculous stuff like that in bills. I mean, why can't a bill just be a bill? I think that's where the law needs to move, is every bill needs to be a bill and you can't tag anything on it. If the bill is, the whatever, it just needs to be the bill. Don't tag your pork on it, because the pork is what keeps a bill from getting passed.
And
if you want to study the mating rituals between a platypus and a hog, then make that a bill. The end. Don't tag it as something that you want done and put it on an actual bill that could affect how we live.
No, exactly. And I mean, the thing about it is that is one of those double-edged sword things, because sometimes you'll get really important bills that will not pass because there's some crazy amount of pork that gets thrown in there, and they understand that it's in there, so they won't pass it. So then it becomes this big deal of, well, they didn't pass this spending bill, and then it turns out that and nobody tells you why they didn't pass it, but if you yourself go back and research it, it's because there was all kinds of this little nitpicky crap in there about how we were going to study shrimp on a treadmill and do this, that, and the other that we really couldn't afford to do, and that was the real reason the bill didn't pass. Or sometimes they'll throw pork into something that's really, really important, and then the politicians understand what's going to wind up happening if they don't pass it, and then they let the stupid crap through because they don't have a choice. And then it winds up being signed because even the president, once it's on his desk, understands it's going to be really bad optics if this bill doesn't pass. So a line item veto would solve a lot of those problems, because then the president could actually go through the bill. Not that I'm sure Barack Obama read too many of them. I think he used to use most of his cabinet officials to tell him what was in those things. But they could go through them line item by line item and pick out the things that were irrelevant to the actual bill. And how much money would that actually save if we started making Congress, for the stupid little things that they want to do with our money, if we started making them put them up as individual bills instead of being able to tack them into other bills? How much money could we actually save?
We could save a lot, because we would get bills that need to be passed, and we wouldn't be spending $5.5 million on studying what happens if a platypus and a hog get together. I mean, seriously, I have read some of the things that we pay for, and it's insanely ridiculous. Like you said, shrimp on a treadmill. I really don't care. I honestly, I don't care. If you want to study shrimp on a treadmill, then find your own private funding. Because that's something. That is actually something that we are paying for, is studying shrimp on a freaking treadmill. You brought it up, and it wasn't a joke. That is something we are actually paying for. To study shrimp on a freaking treadmill. A little mini treadmill with shrimp running on the little mini treadmill. What exactly is that getting us? It's getting us nothing.
Let's not forget the $47 million spent on a compressed natural gas filling station in the middle of Iraq, in an area where they couldn't even get the compressed natural gas to the station, in an area where nobody that was even in that area had access to compressed natural gas vehicles because nobody could afford the conversions.
Fantastic.
$47 million.
We have a badass gas station, though. We have a badass gas station in the middle of nowhere with no customers. But it's a badass gas station. It's badass.
Do you know what
winning? We're winning.
We
have the corner on the market there.
You know what the station can do with like a 16th of that budget?
A 32nd of a 32nd of that budget.
My 47. I couldn't believe it when I read that. We talked about that the last time the waste and abuse report came out, because it's been taken over by Senator Langford, and it was just, I was reading things that I thought I would that I really, really had to go back and do a double take, because some of them just seemed insane, and that was one of them. First of all, who the hell spends $47 million on a gas station? Second of all, why would you build it in the middle of nowhere in a country that ain't ours and make it a compressed natural gas station when you know nobody in the region is going to be able to use the fuel in the first place?
If you gave me $47 million to build a gas station, I could make it way, way better for everybody, because I would build the biggest, baddest truck stop you ever saw in your life, and the taxes I paid off of that truck stop would repay that $47 million a lot quicker than a $47 million gas station in the middle of nowhere that's doing nothing. Just give me the money. Just give it to me. Give me that. I will make a truck stop like you've never seen before. It'll be a 47-car bay gas station with a 21-bay truck diesel station with awesome showers and a hotel and a convenience store like you've never seen before and a couple of different restaurants, and I will pay all the taxes on that, and everybody will know where it is, because it's going to be the greatest truck stop, travel stop in the country, and I'll generate tax money. So come on, government, hand me that $47 million.
You would think if they're going to waste that kind of money, they might as well give it to us. But anyway, believe it or not, we are just about out of time. So why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
Well, as long as the trolls don't get me suspended again, you can hang out with me at Daniel_KLRN on Twitter. And you can hang out with me if I'm ever there on Facebook at Daniel Wright. I'm not there a whole lot. Friend requests me, and when I jump in once every 2 or 3 weeks, if I recognize you, I will go ahead and throw your friend request through.
All right, and I, of course, am Rick Robinson. You can hang out with me right here on KLRN Radio every Monday through Thursday. We're actually shortening the AOTR schedule a little bit. We're going to do away with the Sunday show because lately it's been too hard for me to get one put together. And I got to really thinking about it and realized at that point that put me doing radio 7 days a week. I gotta have a day off sometimes. So anyway, Monday through Thursday, America Off the Rails, right here on KLRN Radio at 11 p.m. Eastern. Then, of course, I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Jen and Rick at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, right now, Robinson and Wright starting at 11 p.m. Eastern, running to 1 a.m. Eastern. It is a 2-hour show. For the moment, Finding Common Ground is on hiatus. The liberal co-host we had there has been elected to public office and has decided, in interest of furthering his political career, that it is best that he step away from his hosting roles because it was going to, at some point, possibly create a conflict of interest. So that is currently on hold. But I am still doing the show on crntalk.com every Saturday and Sunday. Luckily, those are pre-recorded, so I can still manage to get some time off. And, of course, you can hang out with me on Twitter at AOTR_host. You can also shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com. That would be the one I would encourage you to use. I have other emails, but most of them are so laden with things from other station managers and other things I have to keep up with that if you try to send me an email at any of the other accounts, I'm probably not going to see it. But that one doesn't get used as often, and I typically use it to interact with fans and answer questions, so you're welcome to use that one as well. And on that note, we are out, folks.
And really quick, Rick, if I could, because I always seem to forget it, you can also join me on Wednesdays on Constitution and Culture here on KLRN Radio with Susan Swift. And it's a great show, and I encourage you all to listen because Susan is fantastic, and I love it. I have a really good time with it, and join us there Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, folks, and on that note, we are officially out. I will be back with you Monday night right here on KLRN. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the fact that finally, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama have officially vacated the White House. Unfortunately, they are not leaving D.C., so I doubt we've heard the last of them. But at least they're no longer ruling the free world and making us all feel like we don't matter. On that note, we are out. Take care. Have a great night. God bless.